Alright, man, listen up. Regardless of your views on the concept of God, whether that's a universe, whether that's some deity, whether that's some specific faith that you follow, I'm here to tell you that God wants you, yes, you motherfucker, to go all in. And you might be wondering, what am I going all in on? What is it? Why me? What am I doing? What is this guy talking about? Well, let's break this bitch down real quick like a brick for y'all. Now, this whole concept of going all in refers to none other than your purpose, than your God-given duty that you were brought here to do. And this whole idea of going all in is centered around the belief that what you were brought here to do will not be fulfilled unless you put in full effort, full energy, full dedication, and full practice to that craft. Because as you might know, as you may not know, each and every single one of you guys out there, regardless of what you think about yourself, regardless of your self-confidence, regardless of your status in life, regardless of where you live, what's your name, how tall you are, your ethnicity, how much money you make, has a purpose, has God-given gifts that no one else has, that nobody else can mimic and imitate to that specific quality, that was meant to be expressed to the world, that was meant to be shined a light on, to make this place a better place, to make this place a more conscious realm, a more evolved state of being. But a lot of people out there, majority of people out there, not only do not believe this, but second of all, do not believe in themselves enough to go all in. Well, if God believes in you, so how can you not believe in yourself? Again, take the concept of God and fill in the blank for yourself. Is it Allah? Is it Jesus? Is it Buddha? Is it Krishna? Is it the universe? Is it a supreme being? Is it whatever you might believe? Fill in the blank. I'm not here to tell you what your faith is, what your belief should be. I'm just telling you the overarching concept of this whole idea, of this whole purpose of what you were brought here to do. Because the moment you realize that there's something bigger pushing you towards a purpose, pushing you towards a bigger picture in general, you're gonna go all in. And when you go all in, you're not doing it just for yourself, because when you understand that God is merely just using you as a divine vessel to work out his will, which I talked about on my Patreon. Shout out to the Patreon. If you do want to join up, get access to exclusive content, full guides, occult lectures, and monthly masterminds, go check out the link pinned into the pinned comment of this video. Become a member, support the boy, and get up on some sauce. But I talked about it there. In summary, it's the idea of purifying yourself to the point where you can become a friend of God, and more importantly, become a divine vessel for God. In the Vedic terms, this is called a Bhagavata. And the Bhagavata doesn't necessarily care, quote unquote, about his own worldly aims. He's focused on becoming the best version of himself so God can use him to the best capabilities to shine that divine spark, divine light that's within you, that you need to express to be able to feel fully fulfilled of your purpose, of your duty that you're brought here to do. Because if you don't do that, you're gonna come back in some way, shape, or form and try it all over again. Shout out to the Cycle of Samsara. Shout out to the Patreon, which is gonna get another full lecture of that, which I already talked about on the main channel. If you want to go get a little summary of that idea, go check out Fulati Fitness, the Cycle of Samsara, to get a little food for thought. So if you don't actually fully realize this, not only is there the concept of reincarnation that comes along the way, but also you will be living a life not in alignment to that purpose. And when you feel off alignment, you feel off of everything. You don't feel like you're actually providing your value, your gifts to the world, and you don't feel like that sense of, I'm doing the right thing for the right thing. I'm actually on a righteous path. I'm actually helping not only myself, because yes, you got to become the best version of yourself, not only to become, to actually fully realize your potential, but also you become the best version of yourself because it helps out everything and everybody else. If you're telling me that, okay, just being at this low state of life is benefiting you and other people around you, you're a fucking liar. You're a goddamn liar. You gotta become the best version of yourself. You gotta master your craft. You gotta master your beingness, your mind, your body, and your soul. Forget about self-improvement like I talk about in this channel. Become the best version of yourself and become the master of your beingness, not only for monetary gains or getting a lot of women or whatever materialistic desire you want. Maybe that comes along the way, that's great. But do this to become the best version you can be of yourself, to give that up and submit it to a higher power that's going to use you to the best of its capabilities, and you're going to win. If God's on your side, if God's using you if God's becoming your coach and he's putting you in the right positions to play the game properly, how the fuck are you going to lose? How the fuck are you going to lose? It's like being in a game and you get the most legendary coach giving out calls to you, yet you just go off script and try doing it yourself. Does that make sense? No, because you don't know shit. You don't know shit compared to your higher self, which is that connection between you and the divine. Whatever you want to call the divine, the universe, Allah, God, Jesus, blah, 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 whatever you want to call it that. That is your connection. There's a higher source, there's a higher state of consciousness that wires you in to that phone number, to that direct communication with the divine. And the more you cleanse and purify yourself, the stronger that connection gets. It goes from 3G to 4G to 5G. Shout out to the 5G towers out here, making y'all wild out, frying our brains. It's doing that. That 5G connection allows you to hear the guidance from God of what to do in life, where to go in life. And that only comes from developing your spiritual senses, aka your sixth sense of divine intuition. Because divine intuition is your, like I just said, your wire to God. And that wire to God acts onto the mind, and the mind acts onto the body, and the body produces results. It goes in that chain command, that chain effect. So when you cut and sever that connection to God, connection to the divine, you don't understand this concept that God wants you to go all in. Because God brought you here for a purpose. The universe brought you here for a purpose. You got to accomplish that purpose to feel fulfilled, not only mentally and physically, but also for your soul to feel freedom, to feel like it's doing what it was brought here to do. That divine spark of you is not, in a sense, disconnected from your beingness. It's only then will you feel whole and holy. There's a reason those two words go together. You feel whole and you feel holy. I'm not saying you become a saint. I'm not telling you to become a monk. I'm not telling you to become a pastor. I'm not telling you to become a priest. I'm not telling you to become a renunciate. I'm not telling you to become a yogi. I'm not telling you to become any of that. If that's your path, you'll know it's your path, because that divine intuition will guide you there. But if it's not your path, you can still become the master of your craft, the master of whatever it is that you were gifted to do, that you were drawn to do. This is why I talked about on this channel, your inner child already knows your purpose. There is a reason why you were inherently drawn to certain things, because God brought you here with those gifts to do those things. Yet you sometimes go against it. You say, I'm not going to do it because what? Because society tells me not to, because my parents tell me not to, because my friends tell me not to, because I have all these types of environmental influences that are shading me away from it. Well, cut all that distraction out and listen to that inner voice, that inner guru, that inner divine connection that you have to God, because that will bring you to the right path. And there's a reason why God wants you to go all in, because like I said before, if you don't put in all your effort, all your energy, and all your overall beingness to this path, you're not going to be able to succeed. And when you don't succeed, God doesn't get the full benefit out of you. You might sound like, damn, that sounds selfish. You're just using me for this. Yes, that's what it is, bro. That's what it is at the end of the day. You have the blessing to be able to live life. You have the blessing to be able to be in certain positions in life. You got to use those to your advantage. Become that divine vessel for God. Go all in on whatever it is. And you might be thinking, well, I don't know what it is I'm trying to go all in on. Well, go all in on finding what it is that you need to go all in on. And how do you do that? Not by doing more things, it's by stripping away things and connecting further and further and further to that divine source of you, to that divine connection to you that will give you the tools, that will give you the instructions, and that will give you the information you need to succeed. Stop putting yourself in positions where you're distracting yourself. Stop putting yourself in positions where you're not listening to that inner voice. Stop putting yourself in positions where you take the inner voice out of you and you plug in society's voice instead. Stop all that nonsense, man. I'm here to tell you, bro, not only do I want you to do that because you're gonna help out the collective consciousness of the universe, but I'm telling you that God wants you to do that. Don't listen to me, motherfucker. I'm just some guy on a camera out here in the field, in the flesh, dropping y'all that game so you guys can make these gains. But listen to God. Come on, man. Listen to God. Come on, bro. Come on. So you hear what I'm saying, man? You picking up what I'm putting down? That divine mission, whatever you want to call it, is within you. You know the answers. You have all the tools necessary to make it happen. Now dig into yourself, find out what that is, and you're going to realize that your path in life, no matter how much you want to force yourself to do this path because someone else is doing it, and he's rich, and he has this car, and he has this girlfriend, and he has all this stuff, all these material possessions, and you try to push yourself towards that, there is a block, there is a barricade, there is something there that is not letting you to go there. That is God or divine intuition trying to detour you back to your own path. And you might be like, man, I want to be the star player on the team. Well, you're going to be a star in your own role. Your conception of what society deems successful is clouding your vision of what God really brought you here to do. You're thinking of yourself as lower than somebody else. No, everybody else has their own positions in life, their own paths in life. Focus on yours, and the only way you can focus on yours is by disconnecting yourself from other people's. So when you see other people, quote unquote, succeeding in life, and you get jealous and you get envious and you want to do that, remind yourself that God wants you to go all in on your own path, because you can follow his path to a T, and you still will fail. Yet if you go on your path and you fail along the way, because that's part of the process, you're gonna win more in life and win more in general than if you try to flip the script and follow somebody else. So when you start realizing this, and when you start actually putting into practice, you'll understand that that concept of planning everything out in life and following everything to a T is not real. God will give you the guide. God will give you the next step, the next step, the next step. And it's only when you're aware enough, when you raise up your level of consciousness to be able to see these things. A lot of things are already there right in front of you, but you're too distracted. But you're too engulfed in something else. But you're too engulfed in the concept of what other people tell you. The rules, the tools, the path All that stuff is right there in front of you, yet your level of consciousness is not high enough to be able to see it. It's like, you know how humans can only see certain colors or see certain aspects of the world, while a bat, while a dog, while a bird can see different things. You gotta up your level of consciousness to be able to see those things that were already right there in front of you. God is giving you everything right in front of you, yet your level of consciousness is so low that you just don't perceive it. That doesn't register in your mind. That doesn't register in your brain. You gotta up the score. You gotta up yourself. That's why you gotta purify yourself. That's why you gotta cleanse yourself, not only mentally, but also physically, and most importantly, spiritually. The spiritual senses will not awaken unless you purified the mind and body. And those further physical senses that will help you tap into better work, better focus, better overall productivity will not tap in until you awaken the spiritual side of you. When you have that spiritual side of you pushing you and actually guiding you, you're gonna have more oomph to your life. You're gonna have more energy to your life. You're gonna have more power behind every action you do, everything that you do, every movement you do, every video you make, every sale you do in life, every test you take in life, every career path you take in life. You're just gonna have more force behind you because you're not tapping into spiritual power, spiritual senses, spiritual development. And that soul, that spirit, is being essentially fueled by the universe or God. It's being guided by the universe or God. So it's turbocharged. It's got the nitro pack. You boosted, bro. You boosted. You're gonna be flying through life when you actually start submitting yourself to that divine purpose, to that bigger picture, not just me, 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 me. Because when you put yourself in me mode, you're not doing things for a bigger picture. You're not doing things for a overall purpose. You're just doing it for me. And your soul doesn't, quote unquote, care just for yourself. This is why, for example, when a guy has kids, when he becomes a father, his work goes to another level. Because he's doing things for the family. He's doing things for his wife. He's doing these things for his children. He's got more power to it because he has more purpose behind it, because he has more overall things and responsibilities and standards he's got to meet because other people are, quote unquote, depending on him. So is the same thing with your purpose. Other souls, other spirits are depending on you to do your part. It's a team effort. If you got 5 people out there on a basketball court, yes, you might have one MVP who's just killing the game, but this guy, if he doesn't get rebounds, you're going to lose the game. If this guy, he doesn't set screens properly, you're going to lose the game. If this guy doesn't play defense the right way, you're going to lose the game. Not one person can carry this whole collective of consciousness of people because God, in my eyes, in my opinion, is a collective of everything. It's a force of everything. It's not just you. It's not just my dog. It's not just the plants. It's not just individualized pieces. Those individualized pieces are raindrops, are water droplets that come together to make up the ocean, which is God. God needs all those droplets to be in place and working properly and be connected to one another. So that the idea of going all in, when you start to detach from just your own perspective, I'm going all in because I'm going to succeed in life. That's great. That's part of it. I'm not telling you not to do that. You're a human. You're an individualized being. Become as successful as you can possibly for yourself, for your family, for your friends, but also realize that you're not just doing it just for them or for yourself. You're doing it for everyone and everything, and you have more power and drive and overall focus to you as you go throughout life when you do that. Now the cops know because I'm dropping all that sauce and they're pulling out the sirens because the feds are after me. Listen up, bro. Listen up to this stuff. that force, that power, that overall purpose and drive to you just gets turbocharged, like I said, nitro packed. And that is the reason why God wants you to go all in. Because he knows, she knows, it knows that when everybody and every soul incarnated on this plane is not only seeking and searching for that purpose and actually pursuing it, not only will the level of consciousness of people raise, but also the level of life of people will raise. And there's so many things out there to keep us from that, to keep us from actually fully awakening our potential, to fully accessing our innate capabilities, our innate divine capabilities. There's so many things out there, whether that's the food, whether that's the media, whether that's through tragic events, whether that's through just overall turmoil within the world. There's already so many things out there. Yet, if you have that bigger purpose behind it, those things won't drag you down. When those things drag you down, when you're individualized, it might just throw you, knock you off your path, and you just never get back on it. But like I said, if a father is struggling to pay the bills, to feed his kids, it does not matter if he doesn't sleep. It does not matter if he doesn't eat. It does not matter how many jobs he's got to work. It does not matter what he has to do. He's going to do it because he has a bigger drive and purpose behind him. Same thing with you and your divine purpose. That is the highest purpose. Having kids and stuff like that, yeah, that's great. And I think that is part of your divine purpose if that's part of your path. I'm not telling you everybody's got to have kids, but I'm saying that is a good part of this overall overarching path. But that divine purpose at the end of the day, that big piece that you are innately gifted to do, that you're innately drawn to do, that your soul, your inner child, and your spirit is drawing you towards, that is the pinnacle of it all. And when you're doing that stuff, it's not just, oh, you're just doing it for yourself. You're doing it in a way where it's devoted to a bigger purpose. So as you can see, maybe these religious practices, they devote days for fasting, devote days and times for praying, devote days and times for overall giving out energy to God for the betterment of other people as well, charity, stuff like that. It's the same ideals throughout your purpose, throughout your path. You got to take the same approach. It's a devotion to God. That work is the devotion to God. In the Vedic terms, this is karma yoga, the yoga of work, becoming in union with God, becoming a divine vessel of God through your work. That is what essentially the concept of God wants you to go all in revolves around. Become a divine vessel for God so you can go all in and God can act out its will through you. The universe's will through you. You're just, like I said, I don't want to say make this seem like you're basically just a bot, but you're a piece on the chessboard. You can make yourself the best piece. You can make yourself into the quote-unquote king or queen, this and that. You can evolve yourself from a pawn to that. And when you do that, God is able to better play the game, like zip through different moves. But at the end of the day, you have a fate. You have some free will, but that fate needs to be met because your soul will not be fulfilled if you do not. That's why God wants you to go all in. Not only does he direct your purpose, know your purpose, planned out your purpose, but he also knows that that purpose is going to make you feel more fulfilled than anything in life. That's just how you were designed. You might be thinking, man, fuck all this shit, bro. I want to be this purpose. Well, you might get to that purpose and you might realize, yeah, man, maybe God was right. Maybe this guy Fulati Fitness was right. Like, I have everything that I quote unquote want on the material plane, but my soul doesn't feel fulfilled. I feel depressed. I feel anxious. I might self-delete myself. Like, I just don't see the point in life anymore. I've quote unquote beat the game, but I don't feel like there's an actual purpose to me. I just did it for me. So when you start realizing that, when you become the best piece on the chessboard that you possibly can, and God can use you properly. You understand that you gotta not only become the best version of yourself for that reason, but also, like, you start to flow with life more. You start to stop forcing things to happen. You stop putting so many expectations and overall standards for yourself. Obviously, you want to have good expectations, standards, but you don't attach yourself to them. That's why I talked about on this channel, on the main channel, and on the Patreon about the most important aspect of life, not the law of attraction, not the law of assumption, but rather the law of detachment. You become detached from all these types of rules, sets of regulations of I got to do this by this age and become successful here and do that. You detach yourself from that, and you flow with life, and that divine energy just guides you, and you just glide through life. You're just moonwalking. You're just slithering around like a snake. It's smooth. You ain't got no real like blockades and barriers. If something goes wrong this way, you just whoop, turn it, whoop, whip it around this way, whoop, detour, whoop. You just keep doing your thing, man. You're flowing through life. Like, and that feeling is uncomparable. Yes, there's gonna be roadblocks in the way, but when you have that guide behind you, that higher self, letting you know where to go and letting you know that everything's all right. You just gotta quote unquote hold my hand, and we're gonna get to the mountaintop. Life just not only feels more alive, but also feels more supernatural and divine. Some things that you can't explain, some things that I cannot put in words to you as it happens to my life. You just gotta experience it. You gotta know it. This is why God wants you to go all in, not only to do all these things to better yourself, better the people around you, and go throughout live out His will through you, but also life is just better that way. Life is just more fluid that way. Life is just more life in that way. If that makes sense. Like I said, I can't explain it to words, bro. I cannot explain it to words. Become that divine vessel for God because God wants you to go all in. Become that divine vessel for God because God wants you to go all in. If you want more of this concept, go check out the Patreon, bro. Go check out the Patreon. I broke it down with other texts, with other ideas, with other concepts to make it more concrete and evident to you, rather just going off the dome ski out here in the field, in the flesh, giving you all that games. You guys make these games like it's more structured. But in general, if you understand the summary of this message that God wants you to go all in, you're going to stop this video, you're going to go out into nature, you're going to detach from everything, and you're going to start doing certain practices, whether that's meditation, whether that's breath work, whether that's prayer, whether that's journaling, to push yourself in a position where you're searching and you're seeking and you're kind of expressing your energy and your voice to whatever belief that you put in the concept of God, and you're trying to receive that message back through your intuition, awaken your spiritual senses to give you the messages, to give you the clues, to give you the hints on what's the next move. I'm putting out the energy that yes, I want to go all in for you, God, because not only is it going to benefit me, but it's going to benefit for everybody else. But I want that instruction. I want that guide. I want you to be on my side. I want you to coach me up along the way. And trust me, bro. Trust me. You put that energy out there in a wholesome manner. You're not just doing it selfishly. You're not just doing it for your own aims and carnal engagements and all that stuff. You're gonna have a synchronicity. You're gonna have a sign. You're gonna have a signal of that next step. It's not gonna be the whole plan, because that's not how this world works. It's gonna give you the piece by piece by piece by piece if you continue to go all in, and go all in for a greater purpose. Not only your purpose, but a bigger purpose. Your purpose is part of a bigger purpose. So picking up what I'm putting down, man, because I'm out here in the field, in the flesh, dropping y'all that game so you guys can make these games. And I'm out here. Peace.